the kitchen renovation project. And you want to take a roll call?
Okay. Present Steve Durkee, Richard Gussenberg, Richard Clavette, Vin Masiana, Madeline Diker, and Jim McKinney, and George Nowotny.
Excellent. All right. So the reason we needed to call this meeting was because I wanted to get a subcommittee AOK approval before we go to the PC meeting next week. And what is transpired is that the council, after meeting with them on council session last week, they want to proceed with the project, go ahead. There's not enough money in the project to do the entire project. So they put it back to the committee and the architect to come up with some ideas on how to value the project. So we have some ideas on different areas of scope. And we also had ideas of equipment, new kitchen equipment that are in the room. We have an itemized list, put that all as one add alternate line item for that. And then there's the 3 areas. Freezer was talked about as maybe pulling that off as an entity by itself. And then we'd have to figure out how to do the, stand-up freezers as the temporary. And there was another talk about the most important from the council was that they really wanted the whole entire kitchen project is the serving line. So I think it's important. Look at that center area right there and that whole core right down through there. You make that work at the primary base bid part of the project. Okay. And then we do alternate for the walk-in cooler freezer. Then we do an alternate for the equipment as it lines, and then we do the entire kitchen as a future project. They said that they might be able to get some money if we don't. I forgot how much they were talking about, but I think we can go up to almost $470,000. So we're at 530 something. So we've got to get the project down to 470 or better. They may or may not be able to reach that number, but that was a number they gave me a goal at. So that's where we're at. Any questions, comments about the idea?
If I may?
Sure.
From my point of view, I know the serving line is what people see, but to me, what's more important for my kitchen is that walk-in cooler freezer.
Okay.
To me, that's more important. I think that's what we need more so than the serving area. If we had to make do with that serving area one more year, I think we could do it. When it comes to the refrigeration, I feel like I'm going to have to replace refrigeration during the next year. So I'd rather that the focus be the walk-in cooler freezer as the primary, and then try to cut back or scale down even the serving area. I did speak to Jan about, he's got a double line in that serving area. We could narrow that down to a single line right before the cash register, right where you're pointing the arrow, and make it more like Doolittle. And I did mention that to him. I'm surprised it's not on that drawing. But
well, he's waiting for direction. That's at this
pardon?
point. He's waiting for direction from us where we're going to go with this. So,
okay, that's an area of saving money. Whether we would save $50,000, obviously, I don't think we would save that much. But I
think we're more like looking at 100 somewhere out of here.
Oh, 100. Okay.
A big difference. They think they may be able to, doing, a council meeting to maybe appropriate some funds, but it could be 20 extra or something like that. We'd like to see the numbers too. If the numbers come in and get close, they might be able to make this thing work. Otherwise, we're going to referendum talking next year. So
Okay.
that's the problem that I don't want to do. I don't think you want to do it. And the council definitely does not want to push it off next year.
Okay.
Steve,
So their idea was, if you think that the walk refrigerator freezer is the primary, let's definitely do that. And can you live with the kitchen the way it is now? And we do that as we do the referendum money to get that rest fixed. It's the second phase of the project.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, our warmer broke down. I got a warmer from, we were able to get a warmer from Dodd. We could borrow a warmer from Dodd temporarily.
Well, we may be able to pull things back in if we find the numbers are down in the lower grade. We still have some contingency. Now we can maybe put equipment back in there without doing too much kitchen. Maybe we things alone for now, and we maybe get equipment, and maybe get a couple of hands. I don't know. But
So Steve, we would break this out separately. We would
I'm-
break out the serving area separately, and we would
Correct.
break out the kitchen separately.
Correct.
And
Okay.
Well,
we could pick and
I-
choose which one we do.
Jan felt that you had to do the whole center core as a one. You really had to do that.
All of this?
Yeah. And so
Okay.
if we did
Well, there's
that.
not much here. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a
because-
Yeah, but you
there's a
got,
door here and here.
I know it doesn't look much on paper, but then you also have all the MEP alterations that need to happen, which those tie into both of those sections. So
Yeah. That has to be,
it's gonna be hard to segregate that.
All right, so
You-
this
you-
whole piece becomes one.
that's correct.
So this refrigerator, freezer, the center core, and then the kitchen.
Right.
So if we did these two, and then the kitchen ends up getting put off for another year.
Or we get good numbers and
Yeah.
the council comes up with a few extra bucks.
Yep.
Okay.
Because he's projecting what, 532,
535, something like that. Yeah.
535, and what did, we had a little over 400 left?
Yeah,
Uh, 3 or something like that. What was it?
Thank you.
370.
370.
70. So we're off quite a bit.
Yeah,
And, correct me when I'm wrong, on the council can appropriate up to so much, George, what the number was.
Yeah, up to 500,000 without referendum. So the original budget on this project was 400,000. That was the original appropriation. So they've got about $100,000 of leeway at this point.
Okay. They didn't think they would give us 100,000. If I remember right, they could maybe give us something. They weren't sure what it was.
I think Mr. McKinney has a question, Steve.
Yeah, I guess what I was looking at is, are there any things that would be more expensive to redo at a later time? In other words, is the freezer, to get the framework in and structural is more important than something you can put in, take out. So is there anything there, plan A, B, or C, 1, 2, or 3, however you want to label the sections of this, that should be the highest priority? It sounds like 2 is the highest priority. Is that correct? That middle section?
Yes, because you have to do that before you can do anything else.
What's next?
We have to move our MEPs and equipment and like Rich said,
Okay, so that's gonna be the core bid. And then the other 2 are at alternate.
yeah, and again, Madeline refrigerator, freezer as a primary. We could bid it with the core and the freezer as the main bid and we do the alternate for that part. But we also do an alternate for a deduct on the equipment in that room. So maybe the equipment comes at a later date. That was my thought on that too. It was just we might be able to get something, But, Yeah.
I agree where the kitchen proper could be the last to be done, you know, while this is a much more efficient, design and, it has, you know, the extra oven, it has the, you know, the better, sink, all of those things in the kitchen proper, we can live with what we have at the moment if the other sections are done.
That's the answer I want to hear.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
So, what I'm hearing is we probably leave at base bid, the center core and the walk-in refrigerator free base bid.
Phew, sorry.
Okay.
no,
I think there's a lot of money in that kitchen. There's a lot of renovation work in there.
how
A
do
lot
we?
of stuff moving around, a lot of new piping. and-
Maybe just say
Yeah.
something. to them.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve,
Yes,
when you say base bid, I'm saying, if you look at that in 3 sections, and the core section, the middle section, that's your base bid. The 2 wing sections are at alternate.
okay,
If you put it both as a base bid, then you really can't break out one or the other.
all right.
Am-
No,
am I-
it's all, whatever you all want to do. That's the big
Well,
question.
it's tomato, tomato, except if you don't do it that way and the bid comes $5,000 less, you gotta turn down the whole thing because you can't, you know, they won't hold the bid while you go back to the council and ask them for, you know, the extra money for part B.
Yeah.
Gives you more flexibility.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Okay,
Ho-
But I
Hopefully,
think, I
these 2
think
pieces will
another
come in at an adequate price.
I think we still have another, which would be equipment line item, you know, all the new equipment, you know, alternate number 3, say, okay?
The
Sure.
issue, the problem we're in right now is if you did that middle section and that's all we could do, that's all we could afford. Okay, I don't, I'm not sure where our refrigeration that's existing,
It
Yeah.
would go.
stays where it is on the back wall of the kitchen, and then you have one around the corner in the other walkway there. Those are still there. That one there, you'd have, where the 3-pot sink is, you have 2 over there. They would stay there.
True. Okay, right, gotcha.
Hopefully, keep your fingers crossed that they all hang in there another year.
True.
Can I ask you a question?
That's it.
Why not just do the, if you have to break this up, why not just do the refrigeration this year? And then do all the interior work next year? And I think, you know, as we had discussed at one of the prior meetings, we did include an additional $175,000 capital budget request for next year. The Board of Ed approved it. It's got to get approved by the town council, obviously. But isn't that the other way to break up the project?
now.
I got a negative out of on that. I think
Yeah,
that their idea of this project is this kitchen serving project. They didn't even know that we had a refrigerator freezer in the project. It was interesting to find that.
What?
Yeah, the council did not know that we had a refrigerator freezer in the project.
Well,
Most,
you know, I mean, when we talk kitchen and
Yeah, you,
cafeteria renovations, you know, we're trying to take care of the issue. I mean, this is a long-term investment is the way I look at it. So I'd really rather, you know, do it right, even if it takes us another year. But by doing the refrigeration, I guess this summer, let's say we could do that, then you could get that equipment that's in that core right now out and actually makes the construction next year, you know, a lot easier, I think.
Right, but I still think you need to do the core to make that all work because you don't have that access right now. That doesn't work. If you
This
just
is your
put that on your
custodian room right now, right?
door, you got problems. You can't get there from there, you know? There's the walkway, the walk path is not correct to make
But
that.
that's not what the council asked us to do. They didn't
That-
ask us to do it, which may expand the cost, which was not in line what they wanted. We need to design, and it's been designed, we need to bid the project so they can see the costs and they could decide whether or not to go forward on some of it, all of it, or none of it. And none of it is an option, not our option, not our choice, but a council's option always.
You're
So-
correct. Yeah.
We need to not plan on doing something now and something in the future without the council saying, do something now and something in the future.
That's a correct statement, Jim. That's exactly what they told us.
Okay. Now, I agree with Vince, you know, but if this were a private company, we could do it in the most logical way without checking with people above us and whatever, but that's not where we are. And we need to follow the procedure as set up in the council and the charter.
Okay,
I mean, this,
I hear you. And I do understand. I was just trying to figure out what's the easiest way to skin the cat if this is gonna wind up being a multi-year project.
do you think we need to have 3 line items there? Is A, B, C? Is that what you're thinking? And let the council say, no, we're not gonna allow you to do that, but we present our case that you need that as number A, you know? But they're gonna say yes or no. That's the problem. We don't know that. And Jim's right, we don't know.
Yeah.
We'll make recommendations when we got, you know, the bids on the alternates, but if we lump it together, we can't even, our recommendations mean nothing. So we do need to bid it with alternates. You know, alternate A, alternate B, meaning just the center core, refrigeration, the kitchen, the equipment. That's like 4 things. And you can look at who's the best on 1 or who's the best on 1, 2, may not be the best on 1, 2, 3. And you can pick it, choose it, and get better prices even, but it isn't the pricing, it's because we can't go out into this project planning on money that the council has not even thought about giving us.
Good statement.
Got it?
Okay. So maybe if we're done with discussion, maybe somebody want to make a motion that we proceed direction?
How do you want that worded? That we proceed with a bid package, which will break the bid up into 3 separate costs, or 4, I guess, with equipment. Is that,
Okay. I think that would be a
Okay.
way to go.
Second,
What were you gonna say, Jim?
I seconded the motion.
Okay. All in favor? Raise your
Aye.
hand.
Who's
I can't
the
help
original motion?
You have to give me a count.
Who's just me?
And so that's going to be to recommend to the council, to the Public Building Full Commission, that we recommend to the council.
Right, we're gonna recommend this to the Public Building Commission that we're gonna put this out as 4 parts. And we're gonna send it from there, we're gonna vote on it, PBC, to move it to the council to go out the bid.
right? Part 1 is the center section, part 2, the refrigerator freezer, part 3, the kitchen, and then some of the equipment separated.
Right, that's how that we should say, yes. Okay. So,
Okay.
everybody good?
Sounds
Yeah,
good?
Steve, just one more thing, like Rich was saying, I think if you're gonna, okay, I guess one question is, are you gonna talk to Jan about this directly?
Yeah, I'll give a call.
If you're gonna talk to, but some of that HVAC work is gonna, I think, have to happen in the kitchen So when he bids the center section, it's gonna include some HVAC work in that kitchen area, I think.
Yeah, I think they're well delineated on the MEPs. They're pretty much by themselves, bang, 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 except for maybe an electric panel, which
Okay.
will probably in the core area and then done. But the plumbing is they're individual areas for plumbing, I think. With the exception that we get to get those sinks in that office. We got the mop sink there, and maybe we need a drain for the overflow of the hot water heater. But that's the only thing I haven't seen where that drain goes. But I believe it might go up, and it picks up the server line and that other hand sink. So there may be a lot of, we have to take out a floor to tie in something. That's not going to be it for the kitchen.
Sounds good.
But I'll talk to him about that. I'll find out exactly. All right, very good.
Steve, did you want to talk to him about whether this is a double line or a single?
When you say that, I'm trying to see what you were talking about. The line
Well,
you're looking at.
Madeline had talked about the fact that she could save some money. I don't know how much, but she could save some money by making that serving line a single line instead of a
single
double
line.
line.
I can talk
How
to him
would
about.
that affect the speed?
What's that?
If you change from a double line to a single line, how will it affect this time for people to get their lunch and be
N-
back sitting?
There will still be 2 serving lines and 2 lines for the kids, but right before they get to the cash register, there seems to be 2 units for refrigeration for the vegetables and cold vegetables and cold fruit. At Doolittle, we have 1 unit to serve both sides, to serve both lines. It's not a problem. They restock every lunch wave, so it's not a problem, to go down to 1 versus 1 for each line.
I think, Madeline, I think you need to talk to Jan about that and discuss exactly how to configure that. 'Cause I'm a little on it, what it would entail. So
Right.
give him a
Yeah,
call.
Okay.
I don't think you should start taking things out now until you've had a bid. If you
Yeah.
take it out now, you're never gonna get that again. You're gonna
George,
give up something that maybe you didn't need to.
George, are we allowed, let's say we got a bid, we got a low bid. Are we allowed to negotiate with him to reduce the price?
No,
We can't. Okay.
you can award it and then do change orders afterwards, if you want to do something, but the spirit of it is that you get the bid, you award the bid as is, basically.
All right. So if that little nubby sticking straight up, Madeline, if that was circled as an equipment line item, it goes into the alternate 4. Just that
Okay.
stub. Is that how it works? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, well, yeah, that would be fine if that was,
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, if you're talking taking it out to save money, how much?
Yeah, how much
Are
we
we
talking?
talking 25,000? Are we talking, less than 10? And then the question is why?
actually, it's probably going to be less than 10, but I'm thinking 10 here, 10 there.
Yeah, it's silly to start taking out little things like that to get us, you have no idea where we need to get and how much. I mean, if we were like 1,500 away or, then, we got the numbers, then we could go back and do that.
Yeah, for 10 grand, I'm not sure it's worth pulling that one out.
I'm also concerned getting these plans ready to bring to our full committee next week. We don't want to be messing
Okay.
around too much.
Yeah,
Sure.
he's on
Yep.
a tight line item right now.
This is meeting next week and we'll never get this project done this
Correct.
summer.
Right, we got to go out to bid pretty. George, you go over that line. You had a timeline.
Yeah, well, if you guys, if the PBC approves it next week, it'll go to the council for March 9th. And then the council, if they award it the bid, we can get it in the paper, say, March 11th or 12th, something like that. You leave it out for a month, comes back April 11th or 12th. The PBC recommends award the end of April, and the council makes a formal award early May or mid-May. So that's the timeline right now, without a special meeting.
Any items on like 2-month, 3-month backlog, like the refrigeration?
I'm sure some of these things have a long lead.
Yeah, there's some stuff you gotta deal with it and you just place it when it comes. We had the same problem over at Doolittle too. I think a couple of equipment came in a little later. If I'm not mistaken, Madeline. I think the,
Right, I think they provided us a substitute until the equipment came in.
correct,
Okay.
correct. That worked out pretty good.
You know, that was working with the actual vendor, equipment vendor.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully we get the same contractor to bid on that. We liked him on it. He did a good job. So. Okay, all right. I think we got our plan. You talk to, so we're not gonna do anything on that little nubby on the, we're gonna leave
Okay.
it in, right? And I'll talk to
Okay.
Jan and have him proceed with getting the final drawing.
Perfect.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
everyone. I
You
move
need
Do
a
have the motion to adjourn, right?
I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
All right, bye now. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.